Hi, everyone. Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my privilege today to bring you Barry. How you doing, Claudia?
Hey, Teresa, great to be here. I'm very happy that you've invited me on your program, and I hope it's going to be a good time.
I know it is. That's why you're here, Claudia. Now, I'm going to do your bio, and then we're going to come back to you and talk about your story, okay? So just give me 1 minute here.
Well,
So
it is long, that
it
bio.
is a long one.
You
Just so
don't have to
everyone
do it
knows,
all.
Claudia is quite a success story, and you recognize her. I know you do. So I'm going to read the biography, and then we're going to come back to you. Okay. So in the high return world of music industry, Claudja Barry has displayed the staying power of a true star. She sure has. Her debut hit on Donna Jean Label, "I Will Stand," reached #1 Billboard Dance chart in 2006. With her latest hit, "Good Time Girl," Claudia is back and burning up the dance floors across the globe, adding the latest chapter in her long, illustrious international career. Her first single was "Sweet Dynamite," her most recent chart hit, "I Will Stand." Between the two, it's been hits like that, the 1979 multi-million selling gold platinum disco album, "Boogie Woogie Dancing Shoes." That one I danced to as well. "Trippin' the Moon," "Work Me Over," "I Will Follow Him," "Down and Counting," "Good Time," that have maintained Claudia presence on the pop charts and club music scenes. Her success in dance music has not been lost on the world of pop music. In Canada alone, she has been nominated for 9 Juno Awards, Canadian Grammy, and has won for her Best Female Artist, the top 30 German pop hit "Poison" from the pop group General Bass, featured Claudja Barry as the lead vocalist. Claudia, wow. It goes on and on. You are amazing. You're a wonderful talent. And I want to talk to you about where it all got started.
Okay, that sounds great. Let's
Yeah.
try.
I was thrilled you're on today because I honestly remember dancing so much to "Boogie Dancing Shoes." That was one of my faves in the disco
That's one
era.
of the ones.
It was. So go ahead, talk to us, Claudia. Where did it all
Well,
get started?
the fact is, music has always been a part of my life. I started singing at an early age. I lived in a home where there was a lot of music, but it was music that you'd call old people's music. It was Mozart. It was my mom loved all the operettas that Mozart wrote, the Magic Flute, the Merry Widow, all that kind of thing. I heard it at home, and she loved the evergreens. We heard a lot of Nat King Cole. We heard a lot of people like Frank Sinatra. So I did grow up with music. I started enjoying music and thinking that I could be an artist at one time because my mom sung at church. She was a big singer in our church, and she had a little group, a trio, sort of the gospel supremes.
Oh,
They
I
would
love it.
they would do "I Will See the King Someday," but with three ladies singing. And I saw one time I saw her singing in this fabulous net and chiffon rose-colored dress, and I said, "Oh my God, is that my mother?" She looked so beautiful. And I just thought, boy, I'd love to do that one day. I'd love to be able to get up in front of lots of people and sing one day. And that's how I started singing. Now I got my start doing little things, and I did stuff around Toronto. And my oldest sister came to me one day after seeing me on TV doing a little bit of something. She said, you're never going to get anywhere here. Remember now, this was
Yeah.
the early 70s. And the 70s was a great time. They were just starting. Canadian music was just becoming worldwide because Anne Murray, Terry Jacks, Season in the Sun, Anne Murray's music, people like Gordon Lightfoot, but it wasn't dance music. Of course, it wasn't up tempo. And my sister said, "You've got to get out of here if you want to really make an impact." So she helped me to get to London. And in London, that's how I got my feet wet in the music industry, really by doing backup music, singing vocals for a guy called Del Newman. And
Okay.
Del Newman was an arranger who did Carly Simon. He did things for Rick Springfield. He did a lot of strings for Elton John. He was definitely in the pocket as far as getting me involved with just doing backup music for all these stars. I did some work with Doris Troy at the Rainbow. And I had an agent, and the agent called one day and said, would you like to go to Germany? Would you like to go ahead and do a play in Germany called Catch My Soul? And at the time, Catch My Soul was a huge hit in London, and they were taking it across Europe. And I said, sure. So I ran off to Vienna to do some vocalizing as well as study music because, in essence, I went to Europe because I thought if I want to sing, I need to go ahead and learn how to sing properly. And the impressions of all the operettas and all the operatic voices I heard, I said, I'm going to go to Wien to study classical music. And I was there when they were auditioning people for Catch My Soul, which is the Othello version of the rock version of Othello, the story of Othello. And I got in and I played at the Theater des Westens in Berlin for almost 2 years in the role of Bianca. And in essence, that's really how the stand in music, that's how I really got to get my inroad into
Yeah,
into
because you do have to, if you're going to do a craft, you do have to be educated. You have to educate yourself in that field, and you have to take some big leaps, don't you? If you want to become on your stage and you want to become famous and your path is there, you need to do your time, don't you, Claudia?
Absolutely. You have to travel and you have to take the hard knocks, which means sometimes you don't have enough money really to eat properly. You don't have the fabulous four-star, five-star hotels. You
Right.
have to go on the train. You don't have a chauffeur picking you up at the airport. Just it sounds incredibly glamorous, and my nieces and nephews sometimes would question me, and how was it? And you met this person and you did this, and that piece of royalty came to your show, or they had you perform at their parties and things like that. Yeah, it was fun.
Sure.
The interesting things were fun, but the hard things were hard. I can remember one time I had a performance in Hanover for the CDU party, which is like the Liberal Party of Germany.
Sure.
And it was a late program. I really wanted to do it, but I had a performance in on a TV show in Paris the next day. So I had to rush, do my show in Hanover, get on the train, sleep on the train overnight to get to do a breakfast program in France at 9 o'clock the next morning. So yeah, it was great, but believe me, it's not fun getting off a train at 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning and having to go and do a TV show and look fabulous and glamorous and be excited and not be tired. And so it's a trade-off. You can have great success and be wonderfully successful, but you do have to pay your dues.
I agree, Claudia. And I was thinking as you were saying it, so I wrote down some things. You're definitely on a train, so you'd have to pay for yourself. You'd have to be on a train. You'd have to find the locations that you're going to all by yourself. I'm thinking you had traveled on your own. Is that right?
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was part of growing up too.
Right.
You go to Europe, you don't know the language, you don't know anybody. Fortunately, my sister had a couple of contacts that she gave me.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it's a whole different when you're 19, 20, 18, 19, 20, it's a really wow. You have to have some kahunas.
You do,
Kahuna.
and it was a bit safer, I would think, during that time than compared to today. I'm thinking, I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking generally it would have been a little bit, people traveled more on their own, I think, around during that time in Europe. So now you're in London and you're going to different countries to go sing, and that would have been an exciting time and an inviting time, I would think.
It was, I look back on it and I often wonder, where did I get those balls?
Right?
You just say, you were so consumed with the fact that you had to produce. You had
Right.
to,
Right.
I had very successful siblings. I'm the last of 11 children, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So it was like by the time everything got to me, it was like almost finished.
Sure.
By the time the new clothes came,
Yeah.
I got the one that fit me from my other sister in front of me or a sibling in front of me.
Yeah.
So I always had that driving fire to prove myself
Sure. Sure.
because you were tapped on the head. Oh, shut up and sit down. You're too little and nobody really wants to hear from you. Or you didn't have that place of importance at the
Right.
table because there were so many other people at the table. So I always had that burning desire to show them. I'll show them because they were all very beautiful. My sisters were gorgeous and my brothers were
You're
handsome.
beautiful too. Wow.
It's after a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Well,
And,
we have to
and
keep trying, don't we?
you just have to. I had that feeling that I could never match them because they were tall and they were beautiful and they were intelligent. And so I went to Europe with that feeling, it's my chance now because I have to do this. I have to make a name for myself. I must find a way. But then in the back of my head, my mother had the 10 rules. Don't do this, don't do that. If you do this, that's going to make that happen, and that's wrong. And so I had a very narrow sort of path to walk
Sure.
because I didn't want to let my mother down. Everything I did very aware of the the consequences of what could happen. And I must say, I held the line. And my mother, at the end of the day, said, "You did it." And she was very proud of the fact that there I was sitting at the Juno Awards at the table with Pierre Trudeau and Dan Hill and Leona Boyd. And and it was the first time the Junos were televised live.
That must have been exciting.
It was quite exciting, but my point was my mother saw me the next day.
Sure.
And after all the years of praying and worrying that something was going to happen to me and that I'd fall into a den of iniquity and all of that, she
Sure.
came, she said, "Oh, now I can exhale because I know that I don't have to worry that you won't have food to eat when you're older."
Oh, what
So
a
I was very happy to know that she felt, in spite of the fact that it was the devil's music that I was singing,
what a privilege for your mom, though, Claudia, the prime minister at that time, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. That would be exciting, right?
it was an amazing feeling
Oh,
to know.
your mom was so
Yeah,
proud. I can just see her thinking, oh, my daughter has made it. She's around wonderful people in Canada. She would be very proud of you, Claudia. So
well, and
well done.
and her prayers were answered because I didn't sell my soul. I didn't have to do anything that I couldn't tell her about or her friends couldn't tell her about.
Right.
So it was a grand moment for me to just feel good about myself.
Good. Now let's bring you up to the disco era because we want to get you up to the present. So you went through the disco era. We all know the songs that you sang during that time. That was an interesting time for music, wasn't it?
It was a time so unlike what's happening today. It was a time where you felt positive about you. You were empowered by who you were because the music lifted you up. The music made you happy. Whatever you were doing, of course, there was stuff happening, but it was never on the level, never on the scale of what is happening today.
Okay.
We had fun. The music had an optimism about it. It was music that made you feel that everything was going to be okay. It wasn't doom and gloom. It wasn't, of course, yes, disco was, they tried to kill it. They tried to keep it down. But the platform that pop music has today definitely is an outgrowth of disco music. the
It
heavy.
is, and you paved the way. You were one of them for sure.
Oh,
And we
we
had
were.
Diana Ross. I understand that, but we certainly, you were one of them that paved the way for these artists to be able to take that music and make something of their own with it. But you started it, absolutely.
Yeah, we really were pioneers. Gloria Gaynor, Donna Summer,
Gloria Gaynor, absolutely.
Linda Clifford, Jessica Williams, all these people who Donna definitely got her flowers while she was
Yeah,
alive. But there are a lot of us who still are just really classified as disco singers.
you
And
certainly.
it's not a bad thing. The fact is, though, a lot of us are very musical. We have a vocal range that is quite extensive. We can do from top to bottom, 3.5, 4 octaves. We are singers, but the time was the mean-spiritedness of rock DJs and DJs in general who didn't find uh, disco music as relevant music, but instead the people who came after us certainly found the relevancy in what we did.
Sure.
And they took that and brought it forward in such a way that all you hear now is really disco music called pop music because pop and dance music is disco music.
Okay, thank you for that. And I love music. I couldn't sing if my life depended on it, honestly. But I appreciate good music and I love to dance to it. And you're right, it made us feel happy. And if that moved me so much, here I am today thinking, Claudia, you were amazing and I love your music and I'm so grateful that I can talk to you. You really are an artist and you're beautiful and you have a big heart and
Yeah.
that's what shines through. And I want to bring it up to today because you have some amazing hits. I looked at 2006, you had I Will Stand, and
Yes.
that's amazing. In 2006, you've actually not reinvented, because I don't think that's the right word, because it's still you, but you're timeless. You keep coming through with your beautiful voice, and you're still here today. And I admire that. That is wonderful,
Well,
honestly.
the music was so well produced that it does stand the test of time because when you think about the timeline from the 70s to where we are today, you listen to Boogie Woogie Dancing Shoes. It is clear, it's wonderful. You don't hear any kind of distortions. You listen to any of the music that was produced in that time.
Absolutely.
Remember, my music, I lived in Munich at the time. We had the Munich Philharmonic doing all the strings. We had the horn section from the opera. So it was like we had all the classical people
Okay.
play. Actually, they all played in the studio together, which
Beautiful.
was something that you're not doing today. You will
No.
see on the Oscars, you'll see a big orchestra, but it's very seldom that you'll go to Broadway a lot of times now. It's all recorded music. It's all playbacks and the singers they will sing to the track. There's no 20 guys sitting in the orchestra pit anymore.
I understand what you
It's
said.
prohibitive. The cost is prohibitive. But at the time when I was recording, it was really the thing to do is to have classical musicians and perhaps a drummer who is a little groovy, a little hot. And that's how we recorded. And what's happening today is that a lot of folks lift maybe the bass line, maybe one of the sections of your music, and they use that to build their own song. It's a nice way to
Yeah,
to think about your career that someone else will find it so interesting and energetic to use your music. Uh,
absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
I
Now,
don't know if I don't know if it's a good thing that they use it perhaps without they should go ahead and invent their own thing. Be creative and create your own, but they're doing it a different way. They find inspiration and then they create, which is also good.
And I understand what you're saying. Absolutely, 100%. But the music industry is so competitive, is really today, and it
Absolutely.
was then. And so I guess for a young artist, they're just following what they think is the best for their careers and their talent and where they fit in. And it must be a very overwhelming time for young musicians, and you would know that because you went through it yourself. And now today, and I don't want to miss this one. You have Sweet Dynamite as a
Oh,
song
yeah.
as well. And so look at that. You go over a genre that is like three in there. That's just amazing. So your stamina and your talent has taken you through absolutely every year possible. And that's admirable, really. And you're right, they're learning from you and you're still developing, you're still growing, and that's amazing.
You can't give up. And I must say
No,
that I am the first Black woman in Canada to have a top five pop charted Billboard record. And I was the first Black model in Canada to be used as a national spokesperson for Eaton's. The first Black woman, I have at least five firsts. And
that's fantastic.
it really is quite interesting to look back on my time and realize that I really should be in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame.
I'm thinking that too. I'm thinking, why isn't she yet?
Well,
Anyone
that's it.
listening, let's talk.
Well, I wanted to be the first, but I was not the first. They did the
Yeah,
first
I understand.
a couple of
I do.
years ago.
I
But
understand.
I still believe that it's the genre of music. They find it very difficult to go ahead and say, yeah, she was the first, but she was a disco singer.
And that's, yeah. So see, that's disco was a beautiful time. And that's what we don't want to negate that. That was a beautiful time. And you had amazing artists and amazing talents. And that's exactly what I mean. Now, Claudia, look at this. It's 2025. That's
Yeah.
a while. And you're still beautiful and you're still growing your music and you're still going places, which brings me to my next question. Where are you going? Where do we see you in 5 years?
Look, the thing is, as long as you can do it, you're supposed to do it.
Yeah,
If that's what is feeding your soul to keep you alive, to keep you joyful, to give out joy to other people, I still perform. And guys will come up to me and say, "Oh my God, Boogie Woogie dancing shoes, I'll never forget." Uh,
yeah,
I came out on that, and my parents really were supportive or they were not supportive. But people remember that time
they
because
do.
that's when they had the courage to say to their parents, I'm gay or I'm bi or whatever they say. And they still feel that that moment was for them really important. I will never forget one kid telling me that so with so much emotion that the line "Make me queen for a night" was so important for him in that
Yeah,
song. He just felt the song. It was so important that he felt he had to come clean and tell his parents. So I'm very proud. I'm very happy about my songs. The Love for the Sake of Love, Down and County, Boogie Woogie Dancing Shoes, I Will Stand, which is an anthem for people who, especially women, but it's really for anybody who at any time feels beaten down, feels disenfranchised, feel hopeless, feel that they're not in a place where they want to be.
sure.
I will stand. You're not going to make me forget who I am and fall down. I Will Stand is a song that just, I'm my own woman. I don't need your hand to be who I am. I will stand. So if you are looking for things to make you feel right about you, that's one song. I've just written something called Set Me Free.
Oh, nice.
Let Me Be. It's a song that tells you can get free. If you want to be free, whether it's free from abuse, whether it's mental, physical, free from being held down by substances, whether it's fentanyl, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's alcohol. Set me free. Say it enough times, and you'll find a door open for you to get out of whatever it is, whichever box you're in that's keeping you from thriving and surviving and growing. Set me free.
And there's
And
that big heart of yours, Claudia. That's that big heart coming through. When is
oh,
that song coming out? Can we ask?
I'm hoping that we're going to have a wonderful musician, composer, producer work on it to because I have the basics. I have the shell, I have the instrumentation, the strings are on, the
Terrific.
background vocals are on. It just needs that person who has all the ideas electronically
Yes.
to make it into. There's a sound for pop music. There's a
Yes.
pop sound,
Yes.
and it's that's what I'm waiting on.
Perfect. Now, can I ask you, do you have concerts coming up, Claudia? Are you able to tell us? Or do you have any
Well,
concerts coming up
I
or?
just got a couple of things that there's a disco cruise coming up sometime
Oh,
on this year, and someone just sent me an invitation to perform. I got a couple of things in Los Angeles that I've just been offered. I haven't talked. I haven't been working because I think that when you're trying to concentrate on writing. I'm
yes.
writing a sitcom. I didn't send you the link to
No.
Losing Paradise in Music that I produced and I filmed. It's a complete 45 minutes, an hour film about dance hall music. And I'm doing something for myself. I'm writing a little bit of a sitcom about three disco singers who are
Oh,
at odds about who owns one song. Again, I'm not that person who can finish it.
okay.
I can get it to a point,
Yeah.
and somebody else has to put the semicolon here and change the word there and put it into a bigger context than I can do.
No,
But I'm working. Last year I did Pride, Toronto Pride,
nice.
for the big concert they had, along with Thelma Houston and Sybil and a couple of other people. I'm working, but I don't really want to. Your energy has to be focused. My energy has to be focused on doing things that I really feel positive about. And
I
you
understand that.
can go out and work. I can go out and work, but I don't want to dissipate the energy.
I get that. Can I ask, are you in Canada now? You certainly don't have to say where, but are you in Canada now? Or are you where are you? What
No,
country?
I'm not in Canada in the moment. I saw the snow and I decided that no, it's not today. I'll be back when the spring arrives.
I'm with you on that, Claudia. Can I come where you? No, just kidding.
Yes,
We love
yes.
our snow in Canada, but boy, it's been really cold this last month.
You see the big drapes in the
I
background.
do.
I'm in a hotel room, so I really have to be somewhere where it's a little bit warmer
Yes.
than Eglinton and Castlefield. So I decided to just take a little time away from the motherland.
I
Thank you.
understand. So, Claudia, my next question for you is as we come to the end of our beautiful time together, what perhaps tips could you give a young person starting in the music industry today?
Okay, the thing is, you don't have to get the big success at all costs
Good.
because eventually, later on down the road, you may not find yourself so comfortable with whoever it is you are. Whoever you are, you have to have those rules for yourself to be kind to you emotionally, physically, so that when you're 90, you can still enjoy who you are as a human being. You have to go and take business 101 because I've had the sad outcome of not looking after your business, the business part of your artistry. And it is a business.
Yes.
And there are other, if you don't look after it, other people will look after it for you. And you may not like the outcome of how they look after your business. Sign all the checks yourself. Make sure you know where your money's going. Learn your craft. Every place you can perform there. And in essence, enjoy whatever it is you're producing, whatever your craft is, whatever you can bring as a artist, as a performer, bring it, push it to the level where you feel you can push it, and enjoy the ride because it goes by very quickly.
Right.
But as long as you can keep going and keep yourself in shape, work out, look after yourself, your emotional and physical body, and keep your mind clear. Don't get bogged down with the stuff. The competition will always try to step on you, but step aside when you see bad people coming to you.
I have one more question, my friend. Will you come back and see us again?
Love it. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. This is so short. It runs very fast when you're enjoying
It
the
does. It's incredible. But you're just so wonderful. And you shared your story. And honestly, it's just such a nice pleasure to have you on today, Claudia. It's very nice of you to share. And I look forward to what you're going to do next. I know there's something in there when you're ready, and I would love to have you come back and talk about it.
blessings. Thanks very much for having me, Teresa.
Claudia,
Appreciate
it's my pleasure. To everyone else, this is Claudia Barry. You want to look it up. I'll make sure your information's here in your bio, okay? So in case somebody wants to reach out to you, they can,
it.
Claudia. And to everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're all having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye-bye now.